Something a little bit different today. Learning a new area can be kind of a daunting task, but it doesn't really have to be a chore. This is what I do when I have to learn a new area. And I'm discussing this as somebody who, in some way or another, has been involved with transportation for my entire adult life. So these techniques do work. But before we get started about good habits, we got to talk about one bad one. One that really can hinder your learning, and it's a really big one, and I know you know what I'm going to say. GPS navigation. That's right, Google, Apple Maps, Waze, whatever you use. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Google Maps and I use it quite a bit, especially if I'm in town somewhere for a weekend, don't really have a need to learn the area long term. But, by all means, navigate away in that situation. But if you're truly trying to learn an area, you have to use it as a tool, not a crutch. For true learning, I like to use what I call the top-down approach, and this is learning the area from a bird's eye view first. So my first step in that process is to learn the landmarks, to figure out where things are that all the locals know, things that you might frequent a lot as well. Walmart, McDonald's, dollar stores, hospitals, local bars, local restaurants, etc. And this gives me a good frame of reference for everything moving forward, especially if a local is trying to explain where something is. And it might seem a bit obvious, but you can't really learn these places if you're not actually driving to them. Looking at a map or your GPS is not a substitute for physically seeing the trip as you drive it. The next thing that I do is learn all the major roads, which the good part of that is most of your landmarks will be on well-known or major roadways, with the exception of some local spots, bars, and that sort of thing. But already, I'm starting to connect some mental dots. And I give myself a radius here. If it's a large area, rural, or a big city, I set boundaries so that I'm not trying to cram in too much at once. And I don't try to rush it. These steps can take days or weeks to get through, depending on how much I'm driving and how much I'm absorbing. So don't feel bad if it's taking a while. But now that I have a basic layout of the area as a mental image in my head, these main roads connecting to various landmarks, I can start filling in blanks. And as far as places go, you can Google if you want, but by far the best thing to do is talk to locals. Because one thing is universal across this country, and that's that people love to talk about their hometown. So instead of Googling for a hairdresser, ask the cashier at the grocery store where she gets hers done. Instead of Yelping a lunch spot, ask the guy at the gas pump next to you for suggestions. And comment below to tell me what your favorite local restaurant is, by the way, so other people can experience it when they come to your hometown. The scenarios are kind of endless here, but you get the idea. As far as blanks with routes go, the biggest difference between a tourist and a local is the knowledge of shortcuts and side roads. So think back to the town that you grew up in. Like, to this day, you know every sneaky way to avoid traffic, you know every way to get around and stop train, places to avoid in rush hour. Someone can name a street on a subdivision and you'll instantly pull a mental image of it. And that's the level of proficiency that I strive to get to when I move to a new place. And there's a few tricks here. So I know where Walmart is. I know the main road that it's on now. Next time I have to go there, I turn off my navigation, pick a random street that takes me in that direction, and see where I end up. The goal here isn't finding a quicker way right now, it's just filling in the blanks of my mental map. Oh, I see now, I took Maple Street and it brought me out by the tire shop. And I know that's down the road from Walmart on this road, so I know exactly where I am now. That sort of thing. Another thing you can do, especially if I have nothing going on, like Sunday afternoon or something, I go out and intentionally try to get lost. Because I have a radius, I can just go exploring and know that I'll eventually come across a main road that I know. And this is kind of an especially fun way to learn a new area too, because you start discovering all sorts of new places and things to do in your new town. I will caution you though that this method is probably not a good thing to do in larger cities without first knowing the areas that could potentially be dangerous to somebody who looks like they're lost. Locals will tell you those areas as well, so ask them. And from there, it's just a matter of time. I continue to learn new things daily until I reach a point where it just feels like a second childhood hometown. And that's it for today. Thanks as always for hanging out. Toss me a like, hit the subscribe button. It really does mean the world to me. Until next time, take care.